This isn't one of my usual videos, unfortunately, but it's one I feel I really need to make, because if it saves even one person from going through what I went through, then it's worth it. Not long ago, started talking to someone online. I'm in the travel industry. That is not uncommon. In fact, it's encouraged. But this gentleman was charming, respectful, and honestly, made me feel seen. He made me feel pretty good. Said all the right things. We'd never met in person, but he acted like we'd known each other forever. It was fast, it was friendly, it was flattering. We talked almost daily. We talked about life, we talked about work, we talked about dreams, and he listened. At least it felt like he listened. Then came some strange requests. He needed help. His bank card had been frozen. Okay, let's just call the bank. That's what I do when my card is frozen. Well, apparently it wasn't that easy. It was after hours. His bank didn't have that kind of a number to call or that kind of ability. He just needed a little bit of money to get through, to get groceries and gas. Really important. Then, and during this time, he has also been using words like babe, honey, pretty girl, and other pet names that I had strongly encouraged him to stop using. Then he sent me Venmo accounts. Send it to this friend, send it to that friend. And I'm like, if you have friends right there, why don't you just borrow off of them? Why do I have to send it to you? And then the final red flag. A card order, or an order card, I think you phrase it, through email. Now, that sent off all kinds of warning flags for me. And I started looking it up and researching it to find out that, unfortunately, this was an extremely common scam. As I hesitated, as I ghosted a little bit, as I pulled back, the pressure came. Guilt, sweet-talking, urgency, confusion. I thought you were my friend. Why won't you help me? I just need a little bit of help. He wanted my trust, and he wanted my money, which I am more than willing to admit there is not a lot of. And I don't know if anyone else knows this, but apparently there's not a lot of this money for any of us. Now, I'm a married woman. I have 7 children. I'm 45 years old. My husband was aware of the entire conversation. He's aware of all conversations I have. Both him and I have each other's passwords. We can get into each other's accounts. Except at Christmas time, we don't keep secrets. And so he is aware of this. And he too is getting very anxious and upset about the pressure and the red flags. This wasn't about romance. This was supposed to be a business interaction. But it turned into being emotionally targeted. About someone using friendliness and connection to manipulate my empathy. I stepped back, again, talked with my husband, and when I laid it all out, I realized why I felt so insecure and uncomfortable. And that's when I blocked him on everything. Here's what I say to you, especially if you are kind, giving, or lonely right now. If someone avoids calls, overshares way too much, or asks for favors that feel off, if anything about your communication with them feels off, because I've also been targeted by romance bots. I am not a romantic person. I am practical. I don't want any of that. It is okay to walk away. You don't owe them your time. You don't owe them your trust. And you sure as heck don't owe them financial help. Especially if they're a stranger you have never met in person online. And there's a healthy dose, I think, of just plain old anger for someone trying to take advantage of the very traits that I have been trying to cultivate to make myself a better person. Kindness, empathy, consideration, patience. My marriage was always a protection. In this case, it made me a target because these people think, because I've been married for as long as I am, because I'm as old as I am, that My husband and I are complacent. Maybe there's disconnection happening. Maybe there's discontent happening, and which apparently is quite common. And so that made me a prime target for this emotional manipulation. But the experience didn't break me. Shook me, but didn't break me. If you are going through something similar, you're not foolish, you're not weak, you're human. Protect your peace, talk to someone you trust, and please don't stay silent. Tell me your story. If you don't want to create your own content, then tell me your story on here. Duet me. Scammers thrive on this silent, and I don't want any of us to be quiet anymore.